Hello student. In the previous revision video of the chapter first political science, what democracy and why democracy, we discussed the feature of the democracy, and the very first feature of the democracy is major decision by elected leaders. In this revision video we will discuss the next features of the democracies, that is known as one person, one vote, and one value. And the next feature is rule of law and respect for rights. The another feature of the democracy is a one person, one vote, and one value. Means this principle has now come to be accepted almost all over the world. But there are many instances of denial of equal rights to vote. In Saudi Arabia, until 2015, women did not have the right to vote. And in Estonia, has made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. Means those are in the number of the minorities, they have not proper right to give the votes. And in Fiji, the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than that of an Indian Fiji. Means जो फिजी वहाँ से बिलोंग कर रहे हैं शुरू से, उनकी वोट की वैल्यू ज़्यादा है जो इंडियन वहाँ पे एज अ सिटीज़न बने हैं उनकी वैल्यू के कंपैरिजन. सो डेमोक्रेसी इज़ बेस्ड ऑन अ फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल ऑफ पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी. Means if there is no political equality, that we can't say there is a democracy. That gives us a third feature of the democracy. In a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. And the next feature of the democracy is a rule of law and respect for rights. And it is clear by the example of the Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe attained independence from the white minority rule in the 1980. Means firstly there was a rule of the Britishers. Since then the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF because this party led the freedom struggle and its leader was Robert Mugabe. Naturally, he was also very popular because he led the freedom struggle to get the independence. So elections have been held regularly and always won by the ZANU-PF, like the India. Because in India also Congress ruled after the independence near about 20 years, because in freedom fighting the Congress party did lots of work to get the independence. Same thing was in the Zimbabwe. President Mugabe is popular but also uses unfair practice in election. Means when he got the power, then he uses the unfair practice to remain in power. Over the years, his government has changed the constitution several times, and that constitution increased the power of the president and make him less accountable. Opposition party workers are harassed and their meeting disturbed. Means their meeting has no value. Public protests and demonstrations against the government are declared illegal. There is a law that limits the right to criticize the president. Means media also controlled by the government and give only the ruling party's versions. Means in television and radios there is a no news against the president. There are independent newspapers, but the government harass those journalists who go against it. Means there is a democracy because they have the freedom, but the government personally harassed that journalist who wrote against the president. The government has ignored some court judgment that went against it and has pressurized judges. So the examples of the Zimbabwe shows that popular approval of the ruler is necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. Popular government can be undemocratic. Popular leader can be autocratic. If we wish to assess a democracy, it is important to look at the election. But is equally important to look before and after the election. Means ये नहीं सिर्फ elections करके आपने एक person को elect कर दिया, then you can say you are in a democratic country. Means democracy elections के बाद और पहले भी देखना पड़ेगा. There should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition in the period before election. And this requires that a state should respect some basic rights of the citizen. Then we can say there is a full democracy. Means a democratic government rules within the limits that set by the constitution, law and the citizens' rights.